Welcome to Tomorrow. I'm your host, Joshua Topolsky. And with me, as always, is Ryan Houlihan. Ryan, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me here.
I really don't like the fact that your mouth keeps moving for reasons that I don't understand.
Your mouth isn't moving.
This is Tomorrow, of course, and we are live from a virtual space provided by Mark Zuckerberg and the Oculus Rift Corporation. Do they have a name? I don't really know if they've got. What do they call it? Do they even call it Oculus anymore?
Oculus. It's Palmer Luckey.
Yeah, good old Palmer Luckey. Good old alt-right Palmer Luckey. A great friend of mine. We're Facebook friends, actually.
Wants to destroy the real world.
You can tell how meaningful those relationships are when you hear about stuff like that. Anyhow, so we've decided to do a show in VR, and it's actually really fitting that it's Facebook VR. And that it's later on we'll be touring Puerto Rico as Mark Zuckerberg did. Just take a look at the damage. But I think it's really telling that we're in Facebook, because I just wrote this story that we published last night called "The Death of the Internet," and a lot of that is actually concerned with what people like Mark Zuckerberg are doing when it comes to the internet. Oh boy, sorry, I just changed the background. My apologies. Let me just put it right there. And this is one of the things. Like, this actually is, and I wrote about this several years ago at The Verge about. How Facebook VR is one of these things where it's kind of like they could do their own version of the internet here. It's really annoying that you're talking, your mouth is moving.
I love what you're saying.
Is there something we can do about your avatar where your mouth doesn't move? Is it like picking up my audio?
I think that's what's happening. Is that it's imperfectly guessing that I'm talking, not you.
But I will tell you this. How do I get rid of this, by the way?
You hold it in your hand and you look at your wrist and hit delete.
Oh, of course, yeah, that's obvious.
So intuitive. You know how you delete things on your own wrist in real life?
It's not working. Not working. So far, it's got to be the worst podcast of all time. This is not. It's like I can't. Oh,
there it is.
No, okay. I had to push through, basically into my wrist.
Yeah, right through your wrist, like real life.
That's cool. Anyhow, all right. It's 4:20. Oh no, it's 4:29. Very hard to see in these goggles. Very, very blurry.
Yeah, it is sort of
I'm not
like
wearing my glasses. Anyhow, we're about a half an hour late, but the important thing is we're here, and we're talking about the future, and we're talking about the destruction of everything that we know and love at the hands of Mark Zuckerberg and his and his cronies, and Trump, and Anyhow, Ryan, did you read the piece that I wrote?
Yes, I read the piece that you wrote. It was kind of late at night. I was on the subway, and it was a dark moment, and it was a dark piece.
That's what I'm looking for.
But it was very moving, and it's sort of the kind of horror that I have been thinking about for a while, especially since my mom only uses Facebook as the whole internet. And I was thinking, for how many people is that true? And I think it's true for more and more of us, because the more I think about it, I use Google, Facebook, and then Amazon Web Services runs everything else.
Yeah. No, but I mean, it's not just that Facebook is has really changed the internet. It's that there's this weird confluence of forces, of like this gamified version of the internet, which we're in right now, which is a depressing hell world.
Where it's all about points, like likes, retweets, reposts.
Smash that like button, smash the subscribe, whatever.
And all the points are games anyway, so that even if you want to do video on Facebook, you're not getting real viewer numbers. The metrics are all like gamed to make Facebook look good. It's really unsettling.
Yeah, no, it's horrendous. Anyhow, and so, oh yeah, right. John Lagomarsino, our producer, just reminded me that you can call in to talk to us in a virtual space. You can call in from your sad, lame, desperate meat space and talk to us. In this
living in this infinite
in this world of infinite possibilities,
but only one corporation
known as virtual reality, and we can communicate between worlds, which I think would be really good. What is our dial-in number?
202.
Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on.
688.
Okay.
1697.
202
688 1697, and I'll answer it on this little phone.
Why is this not drawing for me? This is some kind of weird brush. Hold on, I gotta get rid of these now.
Looks more like a nose ring.
Hold on.
All right.
Okay, just keep going.
All right. Well, in any event, what I was saying is I just feel like it's really unsettling that when I use my Xbox, I'm using Microsoft stuff, and I'm using it to watch an Amazon Prime video, and then I'm posting about it on Twitter or Facebook, and you're like, there's 4 companies that are controlling all of this. And the idea that Facebook now, because of net neutrality, could just buy its way into being the only place, like you can only click, it's cheapest for you to click news stories through Facebook than it is elsewhere, that whole fake news thing becomes a lot more unsettling.
What's going on with this? I just wish that, I don't really understand what's happening. I just wanted to write call us. There we go.
There it is. We got this random 2. Let me
Does that
get rid
work?
of
Huh? I think that it's not so much that it's just those companies. To be perfectly honest with you, like I'm not so bothered that it's just a few companies.
Really?
I'm bothered that those companies have bad fucking ideas. Like what really upsets me about Facebook and I mean Google actually has slightly fewer bad ideas than these other companies. But like Twitter and Facebook, Amazon's like, obviously a diabolical corporation, but it's hard to, I'm sorry, something's going on with these dice. I don't really know. God, this is so stupid.
Yeah, you can play dice is the only game. Palmer Luckey decided anyone would just want to play dice here.
He loves to gamble. This is the worst.
Well, here's what actually what bothers me about that is that I just remember like there was forums that like, random person owned and you knew who owned the site and it ran out of his like apartment. Like I remember that and maybe that wasn't a perfect system, but it sort of seemed, it might be a little sweet thinking now, but it sort of seemed nice that the internet was broken up into these pieces that you could own or control or say what's right for your area. And when you look at YouTube, like the adpocalypse, all that stuff is because one like algorithm is deciding what is and isn't good. And so like all those gay and LGBT creators had their stuff demonetized because the algorithm decided that that was too adult for advertisers.
Right.
And that's like unsettling that one company decides whether or not they have a good idea.
Well, I think that the issue is we have basically based the internet on these original ideas of what the internet's supposed to be like, and we're just like kind of whittling them down. Like Facebook whittles down, like you can go. Actually, I've been reading this Jaron Lanier book called "You Are Not a Gadget," which I recommend to everybody. But it talks about how Facebook. These things are like you go from these very expressive forms of communication on the internet, like these like web pages where you could do anything you want, and now we ended up with these fucking boxes that are like, oh, your content goes in here. It's only a certain kind of content. It can only look a certain way, and then you have to like this. Oh, we provided like 8 emotions you can respond to with this. Like you can be sad or you can be happy or whatever, but like they're not really.
Well, that's the thing.
They're not real emotions.
I wanted them to put out a dislike button, and then I was like, why is it that like I have to wait for a company or like when Twitter introduced GIFs?
Sorry, you said a dislike button?
How long was I using GIFs on Twitter before they decided to make it an official part of the app? But yet
GIFs are like a part of the internet.
But it's a part of the internet, and it shouldn't take that.
No,
and it would be different if all these APIs were really open, but they start open, and then they slowly whittle them down to the point that, you're just going to use the official Twitter app, which is
it's very bad.
The worst app. Okay, by the way, we can go anywhere. So the good part of this horrible internet thing is that we could just be,
what is this?
Look at this. We're in some kind of a painting.
Do we have the rights to this? I feel like this is definitely
it's Star Wars.
Some kind of copyright violation.
Don't get mad at us.
Hey guys, it's John, and the stream can hear me. We have a caller.
Oh, we've got a caller.
We've got a caller.
Yeah,
That's great.
Colin from St. Louis. He's on the line.
Colin, welcome to the show from your sad...
He's not on yet.
Oh.
Now Colin's there.
Fuck Colin.
Hi, Colin.
Right. Colin, welcome to the show from your pathetic meat space.
Ooh.
What's going on?
We're in England.
Hi.
Hi, Colin.
Hi, what would you like to know?
We're in Harry Potter.
My question was regarding just VR in general. As somebody who's been vaguely interested in the whole genre of, not really genre, new interface for gaming, I was wondering if now is a good time to purchase a VR headset.
Is this the right spelling of your name, Colin? Is that the correct spelling?
Colin.
Oh, you can't see me.
Yeah.
We put your name up.
Right,
I would say I really like this, and it seems cool. 2 things. One, it needs to be wireless, because this is crazy. I feel like I'm an avatar, and I'm like linking up with Josh.
Yeah.
And the other
Nice.
thing is...
It's romantic.
It's a little sweet. We'll talk after. But these handset things, I don't know if we can get a shot of me holding them. They're pretty good, but it should be a power glove. Like, it should just be a power glove.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this. VR has gotten better than it was a few years ago.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very impressive.
I mean, it's almost magical. We did this little intro thing where I met a robot and it taught me to do things. It was like a little WALL-E robot. And it was so cool, and it was expressive, like Pixar-y, and it taught me how to make a gun and shoot little virtual things and make a,
it was way better
a
than
little
this.
rocket.
I wish we were in that
It was cool.
room.
We could go to that room.
No, we can't. I don't think we can.
But in any event, it was cool and interesting, and I was like, I would love to see a story like this. But also, it's a chicken or egg thing, right? Because unless you go out and buy the headset, who's going to make a game for it? And unless you're repurposing other games that don't run as well because they're not optimized for this. And so it's when it hits that critical mass, I think. Right? Like,
What is this?
what is that? How is that useful?
Do you anticipate that good moment coming in the next couple of years, or
It needs to hit a price point.
like-
And PlayStation VR is terrible, but this really good VR stuff needs to hit a price point of like probably $300 for the entire thing. The set, the set, the computer you need to run it, all of that needs to hit a price point that's affordable for everybody. And Josh is now pushing a chart into my face.
No, it's not a chart. It's the internet, man.
I'm just seeing a chart. It's not visible to me.
Where's the chart?
I'm seeing a different thing than you're seeing.
Okay,
Anyway,
what a nightmare.
I would say
I mean,
if
this is
you're-
not really about. Look, it's about what kind of hobbyist do you want to be? You know, I think the question really is like, do you want to tinker right now? Because this is a tinkering
This is
situation.
tinkering, yeah.
This is not like. This is not like a comfortable, fun thing to do with friends and family. Okay, this is like you're alone in your room, some room somewhere, which I'm into, by the way. I'm very good with this idea. You know, but it's like the quality is fair. I can see the pixels very clearly. This isn't like a super high res.
it looks great. When I first put this on, I was like, I don't want to leave. That was the first thing I said,
Well,
right, guys?
I feel the same way too, but like I think it's because the world is so bad
Yeah.
that anything seems better than. I mean, I think this is like going to. I think if you went on vacation right now, Colin, you'd probably be like, I don't think I want to go back.
Yeah.
So I guess the answer is yeah. Why don't you get one and join us in here?
Get it and try it out. If you have the money and you're really
Yeah,
interested,
are you loaded? Do you
it's
have a
pretty
lot of money
good.
because you need a really high-powered PC.
You need a really nice gaming
and
PC.
you've got to get the headset
And the hand thing.
and the hands, which are
And then games, which are all separate
a
prices.
very poor. By the way, we're not here to promote VR, okay? We're here
No.
to talk about, I mean, Colin, not that I'm saying you shouldn't get one, because you should definitely run out to wherever the Facebook Oculus VR setup is sold and purchase it. But secondarily, Facebook is destroying the world.
Mm-hmm.
Trump is helping them. And I don't think we're really looking deeply at that. And it's disturbing to me.
Yeah. So
But
in
also,
conclusion,
great deals on the Oculus headset available now at Best Buy.
in conclusion, it's a lot of fun, but it's probably not for everybody right now.
That's right. That's right. I agree. All right. Do we have any other callers who want to talk about real issues? Sorry, Colin, not to say that you didn't want to talk about a real issue, but I feel like I'm getting mean in virtual reality. I feel like virtual reality. Yeah, I feel like I'm. Is this mic? I feel like I can barely hear myself. This mic seems weird to me.
I can hear you.
I feel like I've gotten very rude and mean in virtual reality. It's almost like
My
the
drawing
fact
is
that I'm not in a real space with real people, or not in a real space right now, has given me kind of license to do whatever I want, and talk however I want. You know?
Well, that's what I thought when we did the show, was that this would be very freeing because you're not.
I find it
feel like
distracting.
you're being seen.
I find it very distracting.
Oh, really?
actually.
I feel like I'm thinking clearer.
Really? Because I
Yeah.
feel like what you're doing is doodling. And what I'm doing is I'm looking for something else to do besides talk.
Oh, yeah, because you don't doodle when we do the show.
I mean, I do occasionally. Like, what's the point of this? Why does this exist? Is that
All
a
right, guys, we
mirror?
got our next caller.
Oh, another caller.
We have another caller.
We have Christian from
We
LA.
have Christian
Christian.
from LA
Is this a
calling
You can
in.
hear me on the line.
Christian calls in every week. So, Christian, how can we help
What's
you?
up, Christian?
Hey guys. Well, first I was going to call to tell you that your cameraman's hands were freaking me out because they were totally flipped backwards.
Yeah.
It looked very uncomfortable.
Well, look at what
for
I'm looking. Can you see what we're looking at here? Does anybody see this?
Is there a thing in front of me?
The camera is an actual person who looks like Justin Timberlake. Are you seeing this? It's really fucking disturbing.
Yeah,
I mean,
the person's
this is what
terrible.
we have to-
His
we're-
hair looks like poop emojis.
I mean,
and
here's-
he's always doing this.
Here's what I'm seeing, right? This is what I'm seeing. Okay, there's Ryan. Okay, and then I gotta look at this fucking guy over here. Look at him. Look at the dead. Look at his dead stare.
Look at him.
Look at.
He's a monster.
Disgusting.
He,
All right,
he does
anyhow.
great with the ladies, though.
Anyhow, all right. So you were saying, well, all monsters are, Go ahead.
So the other thing is, Josh, have you done, or Josh or Ryan, have either of you guys done VR with eye tracking?
No.
No. Where
What's
can you? How do
that?
you do that?
So I did this at E3. There's a company now that does it, and what's great is it's like a device that you put into an Oculus or a Vive, so it's not a completely separate device. It actually fits into the mount, and it completely changed VR for me when I used it.
Wow.
It was awesome.
Interesting. So
The thing that it does is it fixes the problem that you have in VR where you don't really know how far something is because
Yeah.
it knows what you're looking at. So when you reach out to grab it, you don't have to guess as to whether you're going to get it or not because it
Yeah,
assumes
I'm having a
that that's
little
the thing
bit
that
of
you
an
want.
issue.
So it makes up that space difference.
Like distances don't look so great.
Hey, this is the first time I've ever used a selfie stick. This is this is so dumb. It's like you created a whole world, and they're like, let's put a selfie stick in there.
Yeah, they don't have the use cases decided. I will say what this needs and what this would really benefit from is eye tracking, but also sort of face tracking. Like if it could know what my emotion was or what the
Yeah.
expression I was making, because
Yeah.
I'm looking at Josh and I can't read his
Yeah,
face.
I just look like a generic smiley guy.
I feel like
What
I have a
would like is
processing issue.
What I would like is to be able to slide into some kind of
Rage.
like a tube. No, I'd like to slide into some kind of tube that had sensors all over it, where it could just get
Like a goo.
is a goo or a tube or a tube that's filled with some kind of
real
goo, where it just
It's just like the pod that's in the beginning of the Matrix.
Yeah.
but one that I made a choice to slide in or out of, and then I could slide in there and it would just get my whole body in the goo, and then this is more like it, and then
This is Josh's perfect
and then it would be able to
reality.
read all of my bodily reactions to everything, which I think would be ideal.
The one advantage to this, Josh, is you're having a great hair day, and you don't have to worry about it all the
What
time.
are you saying?
doing
What are you
VR.
saying about my other hair days? Are you saying I'm having bad hair days? No, it is one thing that I considered is that I think is great because I have extreme body dysmorphia and I think I look like a monster. Is that I don't look like a monster in here. I look like a regular guy. I look like this guy over here, except with the beard. Well, more
Except
of a
for the
beard.
cameraman. He looks like a monster.
Cameraman is disturbing. Hold on, wait. Let me get. I want to remind everybody what.
Oh,
the
we're in some
cameraman-
kind of Saw movie.
Hold on, I want to remind everybody what the cameraman looks like again. What is this?
We're in Saw, I
I think this is supposed to be some kind of goo. Look at this fucking guy.
Oh,
Okay?
he's the worst.
I hope there's no kids watching.
I
by
can't
the way.
stand that, man.
Also, I hope I please don't do that. Whatever they're doing with the arms is extremely
This
disturbing.
is...
Oh, you can cut to my point of view.
we don't need to do
Okay.
these selfies.
Well, I'm enjoying this. I'm sorry.
Well, look at me, and then really be in VR.
Hold on. What is going on?
Hi.
Okay.
I will
I
say-
feel like the equivalent. If you're watching this right now, it's like two guys jerking off is what's happening.
Well, I will say,
I feel like we're just
I was
jerking
just
off
gonna
in
say,
here.
we made ourselves and
You
then
know,
put
just some
ourselves
of
in
this
the
stuff right
outline.
here.
I
Just
feel
a bunch
like
of this.
we're not thinking what the possibilities
that.
could be.
Just, you know, I'm doing a VR jerking off motion, by the way, in case you just some of this shit.
Here,
Anyhow,
let me draw you a little.
Please don't. Please don't.
Oh,
Christian,
bye,
hey,
Christian.
sorry.
Anyway, sorry.
All right, eye
It's hard to
tracking.
keep track when you're in here.
Maybe we need eye tracking. Anyhow, thank you, Christian, for calling in. Always a pleasure to hear your voice. Always a unique pleasure to be graced with your presence on the phone line, whether we're in a virtual space or a real space.
Thanks for talking.
Okay. Bye. So yeah, I mean, in all seriousness, we should talk a little bit about what's going on the internet. You know, this has been a
Net
crazy.
neutrality.
We should talk
We
about
haven't said the words net neutrality yet.
Well, I mean, it's not just about saying the words net neutrality. It's about thinking about all of the things that are happening on the internet and how damaging they are to people. You know, and I wrote this piece, which was actually partially about sort of just thinking about how I felt as a person who kind of grew up on the internet. Like I was like, I feel that I was raised on the internet. I feel that nothing that I have or do would have been possible without the internet.
I completely agree. Even to the degree that I was able to Google, like when I was a kid and I had like issues, like when I wanted to come out of the closet or something was going on at school, you could Google and there was like resources and people you could talk to and open up. Like the idea that any kid would be closed off from that, it's like closing a public library. Like that's such a damaging thing to society.
I mean,
Why would you?
What you're describing sounds. I mean, to me, I can't even fathom such a thing because like I was on the internet like pre-Alta Vista. You know?
Oh, okay.
Like I was on the internet when
I
there
was
was
like AOL
when there
was
was
my
no way to
first.
find anything, but also there was nothing there to find.
Yeah.
You know,
You
I
were
was
like a BBS.
well, no. BBSs were separate. Like I mean, they were like their own thing, right? I mean, eventually some of those kind of made their way to the internet, but like. I was on the internet when I used like the Pine email client. Do you know the Pine email client? It's
I
like
have no idea.
It's like a Unix. It's like you get to it from a Unix prompt. It's like a text-based.
Oh my god.
It's a text-based email client.
Sounds like you would
I
use
used
it
to, my
today.
browser is called like Lynx. I mean, I actually we did a World Dispatch, which is our morning show, which everybody should subscribe to on this, which will be up tomorrow morning. But I kind of one of my early internet experiences was I would telnet, which was a way of connecting to various servers. I would telnet into this thing called vrave, which was a virtual rave. where ravers from around the world would hang out.
What?
Yeah, and I spent, a year of my life talking to people in like Perth, Australia, in the middle of the night
Of a virtual rave. Well, you could be in a virtual rave.
No,
now.
but it wasn't a virtual. It was just text.
Yeah.
It was like it makes IRC look advanced, which is like IRC is. It actually might have been IRC now that I think of it, but.
Well,
at any
I
rate,
used a lot of like Habbo Hotel. Did you ever see Habbo Hotel?
Very different.
But I used that, and mostly what you used it for, I mean, you could design little rooms, but mostly what you used it for was to like talk people and meet people, and you could go in different rooms of the hotel of interest.
Yeah.
And it was good for someone that was like felt different and isolated. Like the idea that a kid nowadays might be like, oh, my parents only pay for us to use Netflix and Facebook, and I'm so happy that I have those. It's unsettling.
Yeah, I mean, today Facebook announced that they're releasing Messenger for kids.
Oh God,
which is
that
for
was
kids,
horrible.
For kids
how could it go wrong?
Like 13 and up. I mean, I think the issue is you've got to ask yourself, like, what is Facebook's motivation? Are they just like?
Oh, they're just trying to lock you in early on.
I mean, their thing is like, oh, we want to connect the world, but that's not their business.
No.
As a byproduct of selling ads and selling data, they're connecting the world. I wish I could do air quotes.
They want to lock you into their advertising algorithm real early on.
They're connecting the world. You can't really do air quotes
Connecting the world.
I need two.
You can only do one finger.
They're connecting the world. This is like air pinches. They're connecting the world. Anyhow, they need to make money off of people, and they need to make it as soon as possible. And so, I think it's a very disturbing. I mean, that is not the intention of the internet. Was that it was not supposed to be controlled by a couple of entities that only had commerce in mind. The promise of the internet is something much grander, and I think it's kind of an incredible disappointment where we've ended up. And I think it's also telling that the people who have people like Trump have reaped so much benefit from the way the internet's been designed, because it's been designed like this huge twisted game. And it's so easy to scam the system. When Mark Zuckerberg was like, oh, fake news, that's not a real thing. I mean, he either didn't know, which means he doesn't know how his product works, or he knew and didn't care, or they knew and couldn't do anything about it, which, I think the latter is probably unlikely. But what's crazy to me is like, it's so obvious how their business sort of made it.
And honestly, it set the stage because media companies are so desperate right now that Facebook was like, we will get you clicks. And they went all in.
It set the stage. I mean, they're like, yeah, you can buy your way into someone's viewport.
Yeah.
Like, just give us money and you can do whatever you want. I mean, and that's exactly what happened.
Shove it down whoever's throat.
So it's very easy to game that system, right?
Yeah.
And it's very easy to gang harass people on Twitter because of the way the system works.
I've been on the other end of it.
Yeah, and the reality is the people who are in charge of these things are like, well, if the commerce looks good,
yeah, if we're getting paid,
why should we change it?
Who cares?
I mean, there's probably a rounding error of people who are
and they're
harassed.
like, listen, there's always problems. You know, that's like when Biz tweeted, y'all pile on us. I still can't get over that tweet. Like, we pile on you? Like, a bunch of people begging for help piles on you?
I mean, also,
it's a crazy thing to say, Biz Stone.
Biz is a rich white guy who has probably never had a moment of harassment in his life. And so he
the
doesn't
closest
really
he ever gets is that people asking for an edit button on Twitter.
I mean, literally the most controversial
statement,
the most controversial thing Biz has ever said publicly is that tweet that you just mentioned. So,
we actually have a call about this.
Oh, we actually have a call about this.
Concerning this.
We have a call from Ryan. You actually know Ryan, Josh.
Oh, it's a call
by
from
the way,
Ryan.
for the listeners,
The
reason you can hear me right now is because Josh and Ryan have headsets on their faces and they can't see us communicate.
Oh, I didn't even know they could hear you.
They can hear me.
Oh, that's why I was repeating things.
I love this.
Insane.
I love we have a
also, if you're listening to the audio of this, get a grip.
Really sorry. Really sorry. I like how we have in the virtual room here, we have a table of shit in the corner.
Yeah, just in case you were wondering if we ever have a table of shit.
Why don't we clean up
Anyway,
the
Ryan's
room?
on the line with you guys.
Oh, hi, Ryan.
Ryan.
Hi, Ryan, too.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, you sound great. How are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. This is Rondo, though, really. You know me.
Okay. I do know Rondo. We used to work together. He's an amazingly talented videographer? No, video producer, director, editor.
I'm a creatorpreneur.
He's a creator. He's on. You find him on Patreon. He's got a pretty sick Patreon happening right now. It's pretty lit.
You serious? I don't have one.
I'm kidding. I don't think Ryan has a Patreon. I was just making that up. All right, Ryan, what's up?
You remember, I don't know, it was like a year ago, I snapped you, Josh, and I was like, the internet's fucked, and you're like, yeah, it is. And I was like, I think it's the business model, man. And you were like, I don't know, we should talk about this. But I don't know. It seems like you're kind of saying that, like it is Facebook's business is selling ads, and so what they're doing is just monopolizing attention.
Yeah.
So like, what's your solution? What's your business model solution to fix social networks? Like, how do you fund social networks and have good incentives?
I think we should have fewer social networks. We should have more places where people can gather, but fewer social networks. What do you think about that?
I actually also think that things like Slack, as much as like you're replacing one problem with other problems, are at least distributed and private and like.
I mean, listen, human beings weren't meant to fucking go on a service. By the way, I don't care. I'm not like one of these guys like, we weren't meant to fly. You shouldn't get on a plane. But like, it's maybe not
great that all of society is screaming at all of society all the time.
Maybe the best thing for human beings isn't to be limited by 140 characters or 280 characters and then share anything you want to as many people as possible. Like, it's possible that Twitter's idea, which was really cool, well, it might have been really cool for like a bunch of tech guys, and it might have been really cool and it was like a few 100,000 or maybe 1 million or whatever it is. But like, I'm not sure that these ideas actually hold up in reality. I think that
anything you've ever said or written down should exist forever and be seen by millions of people who you didn't expect to see it.
And by the way, I'm not a Luddite. I fucking love technology.
No,
but
we're
I think
in VR.
But I think the thing is that we have to start to think about what we're doing. Like, we have to start to think about how we use these things.
And not just what gives us an endorphin rush.
Yeah, and what we're using them for. And I will say this, it doesn't matter what Facebook does. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter to some extent, what really matters is what we do as human beings. And what really matters is how we come at these things. And I do think the danger, of course, is that, and this is what I wrote about, is that we will reach a point soon where we don't have the option anymore of doing something about it. But it will only be because we did not recognize the warning signs and we did not veer away from the paths that we could have gone down, which give control to the wrong people. I mean, right now we're in a situation where we're backed into a corner by corporations, by the Silicon Valley culture, which is like share everything, save everything, archive everything, sell everything.
Yeah, and feed everything into an algorithm,
right.
and then
we have a politician in charge of the country
who believes
who is actively interested in controlling information as much as humanly possible. It is in his best interest to control and pervert what information is, and he has the power now, which he is exercising, to change how that information flows. And so I think when you see the combination of those things, and I realize now that I might sound a little bit like Bernie Sanders because of the gesticulations I'm doing, when you see those things all together, Ryan, that's where the problem is. That's where the problem is.
The 1% of the internet controls the 99%.
That's exactly what the fuck is going on. Is that the 1% of the internet controls? Forget the 1% of the fucking internet.
Yeah.
It's like one guy.
Yeah.
I mean, have you seen Betsy DeVos? Completely incapable of doing her job based on her experience. She has the fucking job. The guy who runs the EPA completely
hates the EPA,
hates the EPA, wants to destroy it, controlled by corporate interests. He's in charge of what happens with the part of Earth that
even
America
HUD
is
being
on.
run by someone who had no idea what it was before he got the job.
And I'm not saying that the dude in charge of the FCC right now doesn't know anything.
No, he's just evil to his core, like a Disney villain.
His job is to serve corporate interests.
Yeah.
And like, while he serves corporate interests, he serves Trump. And when Trump gets what he wants, we don't get what we want, and it's very dangerous. And at the end of the day, sorry, Ryan, I haven't let you talk very much, but at the end of the day, Mark Zuckerberg doesn't want to connect the world. Mark Zuckerberg wants to control the world. And what he's doing with Facebook is extremely dangerous. And as long as we elect the wrong people and we let them do what they want, we're not going to be able to stop this, which is why Trump must be stopped. But also, we need to be really careful about who we elect and how we elect them and how we think about the way our political decisions have real world decisions. Because I think now we've seen through Trump all of these ways that you can manifest badness in the real world with the things that you do that feel very removed from it. And so anyhow, so what's the business model? I mean, look, I don't know what Facebook's business model needs to be because
But listen,
I don't know if there should be a business that serves
Exactly. I was going to say
8 billion people.
Sometimes the government's job is to step in because corporations' interests are just money, and they're always going to be money. Even if Mark Zuckerberg conceptually feels bad about the one company running the internet, even if he truly felt like, well, that's not what we're doing, his incentive will always be, he will always be rewarded for doing that and trying to create a monopoly. We need somebody to step in and say, like we did with net neutrality, the incentive is different now. There shouldn't be one company that controls all the information in the world. Even Google, I'm uncomfortable with the fact that there's one search engine.
Here's the thing. This is going to be a very controversial statement.
Corporations are bad?
No, I do think we need government regulation of things like the internet.
Yeah, I agree.
But the government needs to be a good actor that is acting acting in goodwill towards the citizens of the nation, not towards its fucking richest corporations.
And I know that
not towards the interests of controlling and perverting and reducing what happens in the flow of information. And we currently do not have a government that it can be given what I consider to be a extremely precious responsibility, which is making sure that we don't corrupt and destroy what the internet is, which is it's well on its way to being corrupted and destroyed as we speak.
But I know that the response to that from people is going to be, well, people voted for Donald Trump or they voted against net neutrality, so that's what we voted for. But the thing is, we're in a vicious cycle. They voted for him because Facebook was influenced.
Well, this is my point. I mean, Twitter doesn't ban Trump.
Yeah.
Because Trump is really fucking good for Twitter, and it doesn't matter how many anti-Muslim videos he shows or how many death threats he makes to the citizens of North Korea. By the way, I understand he's the president of the United States, but you could say, hey, you retweeted videos that are against our terms of service, we're going to take those down. And we're going to, and that, you get a strike one, strike two, whatever. I mean, they're on the wrong side of history, in my belief. Facebook, in its neutrality, in many ways, is on the wrong side of history because neutral is not a position that has value when you're dealing with the abuse of people.
Not making a choice is a choice.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, to say that Nazis have as much of a right to speak as Black Lives Matter is making a choice about neutrality that clearly negatively impacts a minority
and you're making the choice,
a group that is under attack. And so, like, you can say the fucking guy from the Daily Stormer has every right to say that we should wipe out all kikes and all Jews and we should be gassed in an oven and go on campaigns of massive harassment. You could say he's allowed to say that. But you know that it's wrong that he's saying it.
You should be tolerant of all beliefs except for intolerance against other beliefs. Like, I don't need to tolerate your intolerance.
I don't want to be just ranting the whole time. But I feel like it's really simple. Like, the president is a racist.
Yeah.
He's surrounded himself with racists. Mm-hmm. He has emboldened racists in this country to literally kill. He's emboldened them to take to the streets. By the way, I don't think the racists are our biggest problem. I don't think that they are actually the biggest problem in this country. I think we have a very corrupt government that has lots of problems, but they are symptomatic of something very, very damaged. And there's nothing acceptable about Trump doing that, and there's nothing acceptable about those people and the ideas that they have. And any tolerance of that idea is, in my opinion, is wrong and should be met with extreme pushback. And which the Republicans don't do. I mean, they're literally about to elect a fucking pedophile.
I can't.
I mean, the Republicans are the most...
He actually endorsed him today.
They're the most debased. They're the most debased. And by the way, I'm not a Mr. Morality. Like, I do whatever the fuck you want, but unless it's fucking kids.
Children.
Hey, if it's not, you do whatever you want in your bedroom or out in the streets. I don't actually care. But if it's kids, I think that's where I draw the line. And I'm going to be like, yeah, you know what? If it's kids or murder...
Like raping somebody? Sorry.
Yeah, anyhow, Ryan, sorry.
Anyway,
I've been ranting.
Yeah, we've been ranting at you.
What is this thing that's in front of me?
Nah,
sorry.
I was good. Can I follow up?
Please do. You really just got us into a hot
We're going
moment.
to change the tone by going somewhere else while we do this.
Well, yeah, it was exactly, I know. It was like your groove. So in your piece, you said the utopian version of the techno-utopian version of the internet was what was sold to us. And it's still being sold to us, sort of. But now, what do you think is an actual useful version of what you think the internet should be, like a useful techno-utopia based on your experience of the internet your whole life and what the actual nature of the internet is?
Well, I'm not sure that there's any such thing as a utopia. I mean, I think we should get away from the idea that anything is going to be perfect, anything at all. Like, I think we should get, I like this. I love this. This is very cool.
Moody.
Very Blade Runner-y. I think we should get away from the idea that there's a utopia of any
We
sort.
just need to keep refining.
I don't think there's, first off, I don't think there's physical world utopias, and I don't think there are virtual world utopias. I think there are places that we can make better or worse. And I think, yeah, to Ryan, to your point, we're not going to be perfect ever. If you're perfect, I mean, it's an impossibility. Things are going to evolve, but like, I think finding places where people can interact in a way that doesn't demand, that isn't a game, where people can interact and share ideas, where there's a reasonable amount of respect given to commonly agreed upon ideas, like genocide of a race or a culture or a religion is bad. You know, just commonly agreed little ideas.
I mean,
like
even
that.
little things like, you know, everyone should be allowed to use the bathroom. That seems like a pretty basic human thing that we're like.
Let's not get crazy, okay? No, I mean that's
It's just an insane. Like, why are we talking about that?
By the way, also, I don't think that's. I think that's like a debate made up by like one or two twisted politicians somewhere because they need an issue that they can like argue about. I mean, I don't actually think Americans are. I really don't think Americans are like, I'm worried about who's using what bathroom.
But if we could say like, we got to stop with this nonsense. Anyone who brings this crazy shit up, we're done with.
Well, I think that the idea of utopia is we need to get away from that. That's the first thing. I think we need to stop thinking that there's some perfect version of this that's going to work out.
I regret saying utopia.
Okay, fine,
Okay.
What would you like?
It's like, what should the internet be like? It should be a place where you can interact and create and share and gather with people. But I don't think it should be one that's designed by and limited by a single or a couple of corporations. And I don't think, most importantly, by the way, I don't care what Facebook does to a degree if I know that they at some point will be checked by governments that are in the service of their people. I think, because I really believe that governments serve a, you know, a lot of people are like anti-government. They're like, get out of my way. It's like, well, actually, I think the government's fucking dope as hell. Like, I think the government is amazing. I think that having a government that passes laws that help people and impact the lives of people and make the place where we live a better place. And by the way, this is true of all, not all, but this is true of many governments, of many sort of industrialized modern countries. That's a really good idea. Governments are good. They do good things for people. But I think like if they are corrupt and they allow corruption to breed and they allow commerce and corruption to meet, and the representatives of those governments are corrupted in that way, then I think that's really problematic. And so like I think it's okay if the internet continues to be open. I think it's actually better if we force businesses that have reaped a lot of the benefit and a lot of the money off of access are forced to obey some form of regulation about what they can and can't do with the bandwidth, or what they can and can't do with the way we all connect to each other. Then Facebook can do whatever it wants as long as there's a chance that Facebook will be put out of business by a business like Facebook because there's a free and open market to create in. But as long as we've got to do this shit here in Facebook VR and there is no other place to do this, as long as they have a monopoly on whatever that next thing is.
There was a time when we broke up monopolies in this country, and we need to stop acting like internet monopolies aren't real monopolies.
And plenty of other countries do this on a regular basis. You know, this is fucking disturbing.
I love this.
This is really not cool.
This is what I want my bedroom to look like.
Anyhow, but the point is. Jeez. The point is that Marge Simpson? Hold on a second.
Yeah, and Woody and Buzz. All our corporate friends.
I like this. I'm loving this.
Shrek.
Anyhow, so the point is... This is good.
Okay, this is good.
The point is, like,
Zuckerberg.
when all of these parts are broken, when all of these parts are working to diminish a populace and to place corporate interests above citizen interests, then we've got a problem. And that's the situation we're in now.
Here's what it is. We're so close to Ready Player One right now, and that book was terrible. Can we not live through that book? Because it was terrible.
I enjoyed Ready Player One.
I thought it
was pretty entertaining.
I hated it.
All right, should we let Ryan go? Ryan, did we answer your goddamn question?
Sort of.
Yeah, no, I just heard a lot of criticisms, and I just wanted to hear like some optimism about what you think the future could be. That's all.
What do you feel more optimistic now, or what?
Huh?
Do you feel like you've been hit with some optimism now? Because I feel like probably not.
No,
Probably
I've been like really cynical for a couple of years, and so I don't know.
Listen, I
feel
think
like
technology is
maybe
amazing.
optimism is a different way to go.
Well, look. Here's the thing. I've actually been so optimistic about technology. I mean, you know this. I mean, you know the stuff that I've written, and you know how I think you know some of how I feel.
Yeah.
I actually do. I still have. That was part of the reason I wrote that piece. Was I for the longest time I have felt like this incredible optimism that like we're going to figure it out. But it's when I've seen what has happened over the last several weeks. I mean, particularly in the last several weeks, I see these forces that now I'm starting to wonder if we actually can stop them. Because what it takes at this point is not for sites to black themselves out on whatever date we decide. It's not for people to sign in on a petition. Because what I'm seeing is we are getting shit taken away from us at an alarming rate in this country. I mean, the tax bill that was just passed, which triggered a lot of this. I mean, also was like a part of this trigger about what was happening and what I wrote.
It's becoming real.
Like, if you can go into a session where you've got a dominant party, they can write in whatever they want in a tax bill that will be put into law by their president.
With no criticism.
No criticism,
no review.
No oversight, no review, no real debate from the other party that matters at all, not even debate from their own party internally. When you can pass a sweeping change in the law like that overnight, literally in darkness, then I think we're into some pretty fucking dangerous territory. By the way, it's their right as the party that has the majority there to pass a law if they agree on it. What I think is where we need some kind of checks and balances, I hate to use that phrase, but is like you shouldn't be able to do it in the way that they did it. And if you can do that, what else can you do in the cover of darkness?
Yeah, and what's the next thing you decide you either hate or your corporate interests?
And I think they're doing it. And I think Trump is taking every liberty, and we currently don't seem to know in this country how we stop that. And I think
how we stop that is every single person who's mad about this, do not tweet about it, but also do something. Go vote, get involved.
Voting is the answer.
The local issue stuff is what decides things like net neutrality. So if you want to fix the internet, go get involved on a local level. And I know people keep saying that, but it's much easier than you think it is. It's one day a week you could do something.
I think it's really key that people understand that
the B movie. It's a great movie.
You can be as optimistic as you want. But I think the issue is that you have to recognize that we're in how many times have you heard the phrase constitutional crisis spoken in the last year? Like, we're in a place that's actually really dangerous right now. Anyhow, we have a bunch of calls. We have to get to them.
Some calls.
Ryan, thank you for spurring this conversation. And I'm sorry that there's not a more optimistic view right now. But
listen, if this beautiful B movie picture exists, everything is possible.
Yeah. I don't know. He's wrong. But Ryan, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
I think we really upset Ryan.
Yeah. I wish we were happier, but we're not.
Whatever. I mean, listen, dude, it's time to get real. It's time for happiness not here. You know, it's time to get involved.
Here's what to be optimistic about is that we could save everything. We just need to do it. What's our next call?
All right, well, who's our next call? This is great. I'm loving this.
Yeah, okay. So we got, you want a VR specific question? We got Andrew from Oakland.
Ooh,
okay.
Andrew
from Oakland. You're on with us.
Hi, Andrew.
You're in the meat space. We're in the virtual space.
Hey guys, I'm depressed now because of the conversation we just had.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Did you vote for Trump? Did you vote
truth right in the face?
Did you vote for Trump? Did you vote for Trump?
No, of course I didn't.
Did you vote for Jill Stein? Did you vote for Jill Stein?
Talking about VR technicality seems awfully trivial by comparison.
Yeah, all right, well, let's go anyhow.
Let's do it.
We can talk tech too. Come on, it's not.
Sure. One ball of wax.
Listen, yes, the world is burning, okay? Our legs are fucking melting from the hot lava we're standing on, and yet we can still have some fun in VR.
But look, I'm doing the Macarena in VR.
We can still have a party in Facebook VR. What's your question?
All right. Well, okay. I'm just going to recenter myself. I bought a Rift for a good hot weekend before I returned it.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like the video game and kind of some of the experiences that you can just do once are really impressive, and there's a lot of novelty in them.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you actually sit with the device for a couple of weeks, some of the flaws really come out for me. For example, do you guys notice that text is extremely illegible in the Rift?
Impossible to read.
Yeah. No, the resolution on this is this is beta.
White text against a black thing I can read. The rest, like this, it says, there's a little panel in front of me that just says nonsense words.
This is a beta situation. I mean, we're not anywhere near this being something for like a normal, even a slightly abnormal person. I feel like this is. I mean, I'm a complete freak, and this is like there are a lot of things that are very, very annoying about it.
Yeah.
You
Everything's
know?
sort of bent all the time.
Yeah, it's
Fisheye.
listen, I honestly like when you do the Oculus, did you go through the I can't reach these balls. Can you get that ball over here?
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Ooh.
Jesus. Well, we actually touched. That was disturbing.
It was really weird to
Great,
feel a real
thank you.
thing
It
for
was
once.
very disturbing. Anyhow, but did you do the Oculus, the kind of intro thing where you're sitting at the bench and you're talking to the robot? And
Yeah,
it's
I
giving
love
you-
the robot.
No, I'm asking the caller.
Oh.
Jesus, Ryan.
I don't know. I
did.
love Wally.
I think the one that I did was maybe a little bit older. There was like a T-Rex that came in, and you did a couple other little things.
Super Mario Odyssey.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's cool, but like, what is the killer app for this right now? Is this it? Is this the killer app? I don't think it is. I mean,
No. Oh my God, no.
you know, I think honestly, and I've said this before, I think, and I'm just going to say it again because it's true. When they get porn right in this, and they really get it good, these things are going to go flying off the shelves. They need a small headset, and obviously they need some kind of apparatus for your
apparatus.
your genitals. And then I think you're going to be really solid. I think you're going to see Oculus Rifts flying off the shelves. But the problem with a company like fucking Facebook is they're so
They're scared of nipples.
boring and lame and childish.
They're scared of nipples.
They won't even do a good porn thing.
I'm gonna give myself nipples.
Think about it. We
Mark
could
Zuckerberg, you gonna freak out?
We actually save a lot of
Freaking
people.
out?
We actually save a lot of young people from a horrible life of working in the porn industry, which is very bad for most people.
Yeah, some people like it.
Not all. Some people like it, but a lot of people feel very abused in that industry. Think about how many people we could save with a good VR porn experience.
Yeah.
And yet it doesn't exist.
And yet here we are
what kind
in a
of world
rainy
are we?
day
What kind of world are we living
drawing
in?
nipples.
I want to have sex with a fucking werewolf. You know, why? Why is it that? Why aren't I having sex with a werewolf right now?
Because the furry convention is in Cincinnati this week.
No, it could be a T-Rex. You mentioned I want to bang a T-Rex.
What were your
where's
other
that at?
complaints with this? What else
What
did you not like?
what are your other complaints?
I mean, I have a lot of complaints with it. So I think the first one was that I guess I was a little too sensitive to motion sickness. So if there was positional tracking in a kind of rendered environment, I was okay. But for things like video, where it just does the head tracking, I would get nauseous almost immediately. And I played like Eve Valkyrie and that other one where you're in a spaceship cockpit, and I lasted maybe like 30 seconds in those games before I had to take the headset off.
Yeah, that's like a Samsung Gear, doesn't do the positional tracking, and I've done that a few times, and I really hate that. That's real bad. Sorry, Samsung, but that is
I think
unreal.
I think I mean, there's just the motion tracking stuff I feel like they've actually improved the lag a ton.
Yeah, this feels okay to me.
No, this is actually pretty tolerable. But then again, we're stationary.
Yeah.
and there's nothing.
We're sitting
really,
at a table.
There's very little going on in the background. I mean, we're literally just sitting.
We were on a roller
We're just
coaster.
sitting here, right?
Which is what they were also actually developing VR roller coasters, where you put this on your arm thing.
That sounds like a nightmare to
No,
me.
terrible.
But anyhow,
Do you want to get rid of this?
No, that's fine. Yeah, Andrew, thank you for calling in. Anything else we can clear up here? Anything else you want to talk about before we let you go?
I guess I just wanted to hear just your thoughts on what sort of productivity apps, like what type of implementations you could imagine for this going forward.
Well, I think
the first
design
route away from gaming?
Design.
Yeah, I mean, I think design. I think the painting stuff in here is actually really beautiful
Yeah,
and
it is.
interesting.
It's nice.
I've seen some incredible videos of people doing VR painting, and I think
Like
that's
Minecraft style.
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting new kind of art space. I think art and experiential stuff in general that isn't necessarily focused on like a game.
Also, meetings. If you could do any kind
Yeah.
of face tracking, a meeting would actually be pretty tolerable.
I think
in here.
once the face tracking gets better. I mean, these fucking cartoon avatars is
they're so like.
I get it. You don't want the
360
uncanny valley of
Xbox
like.
360
I don't want like some
people.
kind of mutation of your face, like with like not enough polygons. But like, I do think that there's an opportunity for a meeting space. But
Yeah.
I think the rig needs to come way, way down in terms of size and complexity.
Yeah.
And the hands and the kind of body and face and eye tracking needs to get way, way, way better. So, thank you for your call. Appreciate it.
Thank
Boy,
you.
we're really all over the map.
Yeah. What do other callers want to
Who
talk
else do
about?
we have on the line?
Yeah, let's see. We got. How about Eric from Charlotte?
Eric from
wants to
Charlotte.
talk about gaming.
Okay.
Ooh, gaming.
Hello,
Hi,
this is
Eric.
Eric.
Eric, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, awesome.
So, Josh, you have an interview a couple years ago with the person in charge at Ouya where she couldn't name a single game for the Ouya that she wanted to play.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking about getting a Rift a Vive when the price dropped, and I realized that I couldn't think of a game that I wanted to play on the Vive.
Yeah.
And I'm looking into it, and there really aren't that many. Do you think that's a problem for the platform in the long term? There isn't really a killer app for either headset right now.
I don't know if you know this about me, but I'm an extremely dedicated Resident Evil fan, and you know they had Resident Evil, the new Biohazard for the PlayStation VR, and I got very close to buying it. Like I really considered it, and then when I thought about like what I'd have to do to play that game in my living room, like the kind of situation that I'd be getting into just to play like Resident Evil, it immediately kind of turned me off, and I was like, you know what, fuck this, I'm not going to do it. And so I think that there is a problem where, I mean, this sort of is piggybacking on the call that we just had with VR, is like, what is the killer app where you need to be in VR? You know, I think that it's got a kind of an amusement park vibe to it right now, where it's like really thrilling the first time you check it out, really
like
interesting.
A playground.
Yeah, and then you're like, okay, well, I went on the roller coaster, I played, whatever the game is where you throw the thing and try to knock down the milk bottles, and I went to the haunted house, and now it's like, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah, there's not a lot of depth.
Yeah, but in order to do depth, I think you just need a lot more in the way of technology right now, and they just haven't gotten it there yet. They just haven't gotten the technology. It's good. It's not great. It's beta.
It's interesting.
It's interesting, but it's like interesting like a
tech demo.
It's like Caviar, you know?
It's like
it's like Caviar is like yeah, it's interesting. Some of it's really good, and that's better, but you're not going to eat it for an entire meal.
No.
Like you're putting it on some crackers or something and then move on with your life. You know, like you're not like, I'll have caviar, give me a pound of caviar for dinner. Nobody does that, right? That's what, I would say that VR is like caviar right now. It's expensive, it's not for everyone, and you certainly don't want to.
It's cool to have at a party.
It's cool to have at a party, but you don't want to make it the main course.
No. Eric?
We've lost him.
There?
He's dead. Eric? Are you okay?
Yeah.
What do you think?
What do you think? How do you feel about that?
How do you feel about what we just said?
Threw a lot of truth at you.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty much on the same page as you on that one, actually.
Okay.
I think that, it, as you mentioned earlier, it's too expensive for what little you can do with it. So
Absolutely.
It's going to be reserved for the hobbyist
Which is
market.
tough, because it's like, then who's making a game if only 10,000 people or even 100,000 people own one? I mean, it's like any other console.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, Eric, thank you for your call. Really appreciate it. And we're going to go to another caller, I think. Thanks again.
We're at a VR rave.
All right. Who do we have on the line here, John?
All right. Next up, we have Nathan from Washington.
Nathan for us.
Nathan for you. Would like to talk about VR for education.
Okay.
Oh.
Nathan, lay it on us.
Hello. Are you there?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, Nathan.
Nathan, how are you?
Hey, I'm well. How are you?
Well, we're okay.
Not great. How are you?
Besides living in a hellscape of VR, a bad VR.
Yeah.
We're in a B movie.
It's like mediocre VR, actually. Live in a hellscape of mediocre
I'm a
VR.
teacher. I'm a middle school teacher.
Okay.
And I've taught history and social studies, and right now I basically just teach Photoshop to kids all day long.
Wait, I'm sorry. You said you're
the only thing interesting that I've...
What kind of teacher are you?
I teach middle school.
And you're teaching Photoshop?
Yeah, I teach Photoshop, and we do some Illustrator, but mostly Photoshop.
In middle school?
Yeah.
Holy shit, middle school's crazy now.
In a public
I
middle
learned
school.
Photoshop in middle school on my free time because no one wanted to play with me at
You're in
lunch.
a public school?
Yeah.
God damn, kids are so lucky. I mean, middle school,
not super lucky. Betsy DeVos is in charge.
You got Betsy DeVos breathing down your neck. But still, I mean, that's fucking amazing. All right, so you teach Photoshop and some Illustrator. Go ahead.
Every week we talk about an artist because a lot of my kids, they have pretty rough lives, and a lot of them. I teach about 30 minutes north of Seattle, and a lot of my kids have never even been to Seattle, much less an art museum. So an interesting use of VR to me would be, it'd be totally rad if there was some way to visit remotely places around the world. Go to the Louvre,
Like the
go
Louvre.
to MoMA or whatever.
Pyramids.
Oh yeah, that's a cool idea.
That
But
is
you
a
got to
good
get.
idea.
But what are you gonna do? You have to get every kid. You have to get every kid an Oculus.
Yeah, I mean, the barrier to entry obviously is freaking ridiculous, but ideally that would be awesome. I had some of those. I got kind of like the Google Cardboard ripoffs, and I had some kids a couple of years ago when I did history. They had phone. If they had a phone, I gave them a YouTube link, and somebody like early 360 cameras a couple of years ago because we were studying Islam. I know, red alert, Islam in middle school.
No, not a red alert to me. I think that's great. Unless you were like all followers of Islam are bad, then in which case that would be very bad.
I'm the king of VR.
We were not doing that.
Okay, good.
No, but we had somebody had taken a 360 cam to Mecca, like around the Kaaba, doing the Hajj, doing the pilgrimage, and so our kids were able to put on. It was really low res. It looked really shitty though, but they were able to walk around and look around at what happens, which was pretty amazing.
Right. No, that's awesome. I mean, I think
so cool.
I think there's
I would have loved that.
I mean, honestly, if you've ever used like the Samsung Gear VR stuff, where you just throw a phone in a headset, it's actually pretty damn good. And I do think that there are applications with that where there's clearly some utility to it. But I think it's like that thing where it's like the technology's there, but what is the right implementation, and how do you get everybody that you need to experience it, right? Like how do you get a class? I mean, what's a typical class? How big is it? How many kids?
30. I mean, I have 34 kids in a room.
Yeah. So I mean, what's the cost? I mean, does Samsung want to give everybody a phone and a Gear VR headset? And they're probably not.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing. Like the technology.
That's like $30,000 per class.
I might be able to make a crazy case for getting the technology. Say we got some I don't know. Say I wrote some grant and we got all the gear for it. The problem really isn't the technology on our side. It's really Discovery Channel or National Geographic or MoMA. It's the content. Who's going to make the content and because there's no way to make money off of it in education.
There should be a grant for that, innovative, right?
Well, there are, right? Are there grants for those sorts of things?
I could probably write a grant for I don't know, cool technology grant for stuff. But then, like I said, we don't have. I can get the grant for the viewing, but nobody's creating. There's not a good set of there's not some sort of amazing set of walkthroughs of MoMA, and I don't know if there's licensing issues with that shit anyway. So.
I think it would be very interesting if possible.
Well, at some point someone's going to do it. It's just a question of when, It's a question of when and who. And, you can bet somebody who Trump knows is going to make money off of it. You know? Anyhow, this is super interesting, Nathan. Thank you for calling. This is actually a really interesting way. I mean, we're so, we're beating up on this stuff, but there are beneficial uses of it. I like VR. I mean, I love VR. I want to spend my life in VR. But,
But we need a Wikipedia version of Google Maps full of places like that. That's user submitted so nobody controls what you see.
Well, I don't know. Do we want that?
Yeah.
Maybe.
I think so, an open map.
Because I can map all that stuff out myself, we could do that. But we just have to have the content itself. But you're right. Just like you said it earlier, though. You said, games are one thing, but then, I think, because I've really done very limited stuff in games with VR, but the content side of it, experiencing things, being able to put your body somewhere else in our world, not on, No Man's Sky world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And learn about the actual world.
I think that's a really cool idea. It's just who's going to be responsible for it? And Nathan, if you find out or if you become responsible for it, you need to call back and tell us, okay?
I will.
All right, thanks, man. I appreciate the call.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Let me put this down here for a second. I feel bad because we were fishing a little bit. That's the end of our calls for right now. So listen, I don't know what time it is. I don't know how long it's. Oh, I have a watch in here. Okay, so we've been going for about an hour in VR.
Yeah.
I definitely am feeling. Oh.
Ooh, I got a fish.
Did you get one?
Yeah.
I definitely am feeling.
We're fishing, by the way, everybody.
We're playing some game that's like Arctic fishing, where we're
and
around.
And it's really hard.
We're around. I don't really understand the point of it. We're
It's
sitting
easier in
around.
Animal
Hold on, let me
Crossing.
explain it. We're sitting around. Oh, okay.
I caught a big fish.
We're sitting around a. I'm against fishing, frankly. Oh, no.
I say kill them all.
We're sitting around an ice hole. We're sitting around a gaping ice hole, and we're sticking our fishing rods in the ice hole, and we're trying to pull out fish right out of this hole. Right out of this
Just
ice.
get right in that ice
right
hole.
out of the ice hole.
Really pulling stuff in and out of the ice hole.
We're just putting the sticks in.
Hole.
We're putting the fishing sticks in. What do you call these? Fishing rods. We're jamming our rods in this ice hole.
We're just rod in the ice hole.
And we're trying.
And I'm putting nipples back on for
trying
that.
To pull some, trying to pull some fish out.
Pepperoni nips.
And it's great. You could tell Zuckerberg signed off on this. He was like, "I love this."
He's like,
wholesome.
"I love fishing."
He's like, "I love any situation."
We could create anything at all, any activity. And
I like
we
any
made ice
situation
fishing.
where you're around a nice, like a regular. This is like what I do on my weekends. I go to my, I go up north to Alaska where I have a huge ice hole.
You
I
just
get all
get
my
that
friends,
ice hole out.
get all my friends in there.
All your friends in the ice hole.
Get them up in there.
Get them up in the hole.
Okay, anyhow. I like how somehow you're more vulgar than I am about this. It's really incredible. What is this thing? There's some sort of device here.
Click to open. Ooh, okay.
Okay.
Click.
Okay.
If you're just listening to the audio, we're trying to make stuff work.
Sorry, this is dumb. But
anyway.
Okay. So, all right. Well, I don't know. Do we have anything else we need to talk about, Ryan?
Oh, listen. We could talk about a lot, but I think we covered. You need to get involved and protect the internet because otherwise, what will I have to do?
Yeah. Otherwise, we're just gonna be doing ice fishing, lame ass ice fishing.
And,
oh wait,
and
I realize
posting
now the
fake
camera.
news.
I realize the camera actually kind of looks like Mark Zuckerberg. Was that on purpose? Now that I think
Zuckerberg
of
if he
it-
had a dark lip.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me get that. I know you're showing my view, but I prefer to do this. It's like if Tim. Hold on. God damn. It's weird because. What happened to me?
There's no feedback when you grab something.
Yeah, it's really annoying. It's weird because it's like I know that Justin Timberlake played Sean Parker in the movie, and yet here it's like Justin Timberlake is playing the role of Mark Zuckerberg.
And
right?
also a
Am I right?
nightmare. And also a complete nightmare person
why
who
can't
stares
I-
dead-eyed at you while you talk.
You can't throw things in VR. It's so annoying.
No, you can't. You just kind of drop them.
Hey, they're like, hey, should we have gravity? And they're like, nah, fuck it. Who needs gravity?
Also, things
there we
don't
go.
hit any kind of floor.
There
They
we
just
go.
pass into nothing and
There
then
we go.
reappear.
There we go. That's what I'm looking for right there. Okay.
Just put that in there.
Would you mind? Let me put that down. Oh, yeah.
Just drop everything off the face of the earth.
Right.
Oh, and it just reappears. Anyway, this was fun.
Yeah, this is a great time. All I can say is I would not spend thousands of dollars on this experience.
We joked about always doing the show in here, and that's not going to happen.
I've decided now, and now that I'm thinking of it, I feel like it would not be a great experience for anybody.
No.
I find it very distracting, more than anything.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Very distracting.
I thought it was centering me, but now I'm realizing.
Oh, yeah.
that
Hold on a second. Wait a second.
Oh, there it is.
That's what I'm looking for. Just insert that in there.
Just
like,
putting things in the ice hole.
Just jamming different objects in the ice hole to see what happens. Hold on a second. Oh, I just touched Ryan. Okay. Oh, that one sinks, but these balls don't. Huh?
The balls stay where they.
I really
the
wish
balls stay in the ice hole.
the balls. You can put the balls in there for as long as you'd like. It's really interesting. Anyhow,
Anyway.
well, that's our show.
Thanks for the ice hole, Zuck.
I think we all learned a lot about ourselves and each other, and you know, we'll be back.
VR raves.
Yeah, we'll be back soon with more tomorrow. And as always, I wish you and your family the very best. Though I understand they've been dunked slowly and frankly centrally into an ice hole by Mark Zuckerberg, and that's a real shame.